All right, we're back. Coffee with Coach, Season 2, Episode 2, Week 2. We got a lot of twos going on, Coach. So we're going to talk a little bit about this football game tonight, and we're going to talk about everything Edgewater football. So let's lock in and get ready. Coach Duke, how's it going?
Good to be here. Good to have another game to get prepared for tonight. Fortunate about last week coming out with a win against a really good opponent, so it always feels good to start the season 1-0 and be able to keep that Battle at College Park trophy here for another year. But now it's on to week 2, and Clearwater Academy International is coming here, so looking forward to the challenge ahead.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this team we're playing, Clearwater Academy International. They got a fancy name. I like it. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about last week. Did you figure out what Bishop Moore's first name is?
Did not.
I did not either. I don't know. I haven't heard from our #1 fan. If you want to be a #1 fan, remember, you can send in questions for Coach Duke. We're going to have some exclusive Coffee with Coach product coming soon. I'm going to be unveiling some new merchandise starting next week. So get excited about that. Coach has his visor with him. I don't know what he's got going on, but he brought a visor today. I personally, I love the visor days. I think Coach Duke and a visor go hand in hand. Visor and headset, Coach Duke on the sideline, it just feels like football in College Park to me, but that's just my opinion. Are you laughing or you want to say something?
I wore a visor for my first, I don't know how many years, and
how many years you been here?
This is year 7.
So last year was the first year you didn't wear a visor.
I believe so. I need to go back and look 21. I don't, I got to go back and look. But I know in 21, I'm not sure. Last year, I know I wore a hat. And
sometimes for fun, I like to pull up pictures of Coach Duke on the internet, so I'm reminded about what he looks like in a visor, because it's just better. Coach Duke needs the Jeep again too, maybe.
I still have it. I just don't drive it a whole lot.
I remember when I met Coach Duke, he was riding around his Jeep with no doors on it, surfboard in the back. It was nice.
That was the good times. That was before.
Two children?
2 children under 2 years old, yep.
How are the kids?
They're good. They're good. We were all, we had a day off this week due to the hurricane. Glad that it stayed west of us, but we had them at the house, my wife and I, so we had a fun-filled day at home this week. But they're doing well. My oldest turns 2 on Sunday, so
amazing.
It's a good weekend.
I love that age.
Big weekend ahead.
I got 8 more years, and then I figured out what I'm going to do in retirement. I'm going to be a part-time Manny. I love little children. Mr. Leisher going to bring his skills to the Mannying stage. That's what I'm going to do. Part-time fill-in Manny. That's my dream. 8 more years, and that's me. All right, Coach, let's talk a little bit about last week and those Bishop Moore Hornets and how the game was.
It was a game that I thought our kids' fault. We didn't play perfect by any means. We got back to making sure we went through our corrections on Monday, areas that we had to improve. But at the end of the day, when you come away with a win, it was 24-6 at one point. We had a big touchdown called back. We had to clean up some mistakes, but hats off to those guys. They just kept battling and scored late and got an onside kick and scored on the last play of the game to make it 24-19. But those guys battled like crazy, and so we're fortunate that we came out with a win. We came out for the most part healthy. So a lot to improve on, a lot to get better at, but it always feels better when you're trying to make corrections after a win. So we'll take it. We look forward to have what we've been able to do this week and then put it into practice tonight.
Awesome. Let's just shine a little light on some people from last week. Anybody that stood out to you? Anybody you want to mention?
I think I thought our offensive line played really well. Our defense played really well. Mylan Bowen had a big play where we stripped the quarterback and Solomon Tripline, he goes by Philly, scooped and scored to make it 14-0. Anytime the defense gets a touchdown or scores, it's huge. So I thought hats off to our defense across from the first to the fourth quarter. Special teams unit was good, had a big field goal. Easton Bonnett, our long snapper, Caiden Harrison, our holder, and John, our kicker, made a big field goal there in the second quarter. I thought Kaden Shields-Dutton, our running back, had 2 touchdowns, ran really hard. He's a senior, had over 130 yards, all-purpose yards for us offensively, rushing in, receiving. And then I thought Michael Clayton, our quarterback, did some really good stuff directing our offense and putting us in some really good situations. So I think there was different phases and different players on the offense and the defense and the special teams that did really well for us to find a way to get a win for the fifth straight one against those guys. So
I was there. I liked it. I stayed till the end of the third quarter. I must have. Maybe that's what it was.
That's
wrong.
right.
I got home. I saw the end of the squad. What? So how'd that happen?
Yeah.
I don't understand. But then I talked to a few people. They let me know why it happened. I understand now. So we're gonna move on to our opponent. Our opponent watch this week is Clearwater Academy International. This school was formed. I did a little Wikipedia research. It was formed in 1997, the year I graduated from high school. So it's a pretty new school. Seems like it's a football academy. It's a K through 12 school. It's private. We run in public circles, but we like to play some of them private schools too. And according to Wikipedia, Coach, now the connections. This is like if you're like an investigator and you got one of them boards and you pin things together. According to Wikipedia, Clearwater Academy International uses or previously used applied scholastics. Does that mean anything to you?
Hubbard, I believe.
Yes, L. Ron Hubbard. You knew that, or did someone tell you?
I did my own research on the school.
Okay, so do you get the connection there? L. Ron Hubbard.
He's the founder of Scientology.
Church of Scientology.
That's all I know. I know they use some. They don't. They're not affiliated with.
Who is the biggest famous person that is a Church of Scientology man?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
And where are they? Where's their? Where are they based out of?
I've been to the Hollywood one.
They're based out of Clearwater.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So Scientology's headquarters, and I don't know if it's the national headquarters, but it's one of their spots where it's headquartered is in Clearwater, Florida.
I walked by the Church of Scientology in Hollywood, and Hollywood is not the cleanest place. There's a lot going on in Hollywood, but it's not clean. And at the Church of Scientology, right in the heart of Hollywood, they had a man out front sweeping up the leaves in a suit and tie, and that little stretch of Hollywood where the Church of Scientology was perfectly clean. It was very interesting. Very interesting. So that's all I really know about them.
They started football in 2008. Started with 6-man football, 7-man football. They kind of built. Their original coach was from Italy. They started getting a lot of international players to come over to the school and play football. They really came on the national scene a few years ago, 2018-19. They had some kids that became national recruits. They have a lot of football players that are from across another country. A lot of their players are from Canada. They currently have 10 players that are committed to Division I schools that are seniors. They have some linemen going to Southern Cal, another defensive lineman going to Notre Dame. They have 2 Minnesota commits. They have a bunch of players that are going to go off and play. Most of those players are not from the States. They've come from Canada, they've come elsewhere, and they've now play a national schedule. When you look at their schedule, they play teams all over the country and in the state of Florida that are very high caliber teams. The first 2 games, they played a state champion in Miami Columbus and a state finalist in Homestead that played in the 7A state championship game last year. And Miami Columbus won the 8A, or I should say 4 Metro state championship last year. So they play an incredible schedule. They're a very talented football team. Our work's cut out for us. This is one of those teams that can't find games, and we were dumb enough or smart, not scared, I guess you could say, to said, yeah, we'll play you. So we're playing them week 2. They're coming to our place, but it'll be a chance for us to see kind of where we are against a really, really talented football team tonight.
Well, that's why we love you, Coach, because you're not dumb and you're not scared. So that's 2 good things. And you got a lot of love. What was the other word? Special. You're special. That's right. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk some X's and O's, Coach, because this is a dream of mine, okay? Because I've been around football a good bit, but I have never understood what is talked about on a headset. So what are the headset conversations? I've never had a headset on. What goes on in a headset?
I think a headset, you're trying to figure out exactly what they're doing pre-snap. So you're trying, if we're talking to the defensive coaches, it's what are they lined up in, what formation, what personnel grouping, and also trying to correct that which a mistake that had been made prior. So you're trying to figure out how you get things corrected, but also getting prepared for the next play and for the future. You're also trying to communicate, alerting special teams. If it's 3rd down, you're going to alert possibly a special team unit that needs to be out on the field on 4th down. So again, you're trying to be proactive with getting communication with your coaches so you can get them to your players. And then offensively, you're looking at different things. I have a coach looking at the secondary, and what's available. In the passing game, we have a coach looking at what we call the box or the front 7. What do we think a play that will be successful in the run game, and then be able to get those calls in. So we're trying to figure out what's going to happen in the future, but also if there's been a mistake made, making sure that we understood the mistake and that we're having communication with the player or with the coach that can then communicate effectively of getting that mistake corrected on the fly. So it's a lot going on. It's fast communication. You have to be locked in the entire time. And I talk to both and really all three, from offense, defense, and special teams. We have different coaches. We have an offensive staff, a defensive staff, and then special teams coaches that I need to be able to communicate with all three during the game. So also when we need to call timeout, when we feel like we might either be tired or we need to have a discussion about something that's about to happen, that's when you want to be able to call a timeout. That's discussed as well on the headsets.
Very good. I like it. Someday I'm gonna wear a headset. I'm gonna do that.
It can be a little chaotic at times.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
I'm sure it's fun in a chaotic kind of way. So we got some number one fan questions. Remember, if you want to be a number one fan, you can reach out to me. This week on YouTube, I think we had 81 views. I mean, that's like an unbelievable amount of viewership in Coffee with Coach. Last year, we got in the 3 digits. We were in the hundreds. So, you know, if you got some friends out there, send them towards Coffee with Coach. We're looking for 3 digits again of viewership. If you got questions, please ask. This is not easy. Making all this content by myself and my number one fan, it's very difficult to do, okay? So if you want to ask some questions to Coach, please write in some of those questions. Number one fan question, Lamar Jackson, overpaid or no?
No, I think Lamar Jackson is an exceptional athlete. He's an incredible teammate. He's loved by his teammates. And what he can do at the quarterback position is extremely unique and very rare, and I think he's the best dual threat quarterback out there. He's done it since he was in high school. He's a Boynton Beach. He's a Florida guy. I always pull for guys from the state of Florida in the NFL. Goes to Louisville, wins a Heisman. I watched what he did there, and now he's doing the NFL. He's earned every bit of what he's getting paid.
You ever been to Louisville?
I have not.
Churchill Downs.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
Nice place. It's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, who's stronger, EJ or Tommy?
EJ's been Coach EJ's been getting lean lately. He's been working out, running, and I think really getting lean. And Tommy's running our strength program here at Edgewater, and he's been lifting heavy weights. So I think at the moment I'd have to give it to Coach Tommy Whitted. But
wow.
I think EJ in his prime now, he's got a bunch of records at UCF. You can go in the weight room and you'll see his name in their weight room for having some personal bests at UCF.
Really?
So I'm not saying in their prime or when they were playing, but I think as of right now with Coach Whitted and what Coach EJ's doing is more cardio, and Tommy I think is still pushing big weight.
We live in the now, so it's the now.
That's right.
All right, so in the now, who's stronger, Coach Mark or Coach Holohan?
Oh, that's a good question. They're both, they both like golf. They're both really long off the tee. So I'm going to have to give it to Coach Holohan. It was his birthday this week. He turned 40.
Wow.
40. So there's some, they call that grown man strength.
Grown man strength.
So I'm going to give it to Coach Holohan, but Coach Mark's wiry now. He's stronger than you would think.
That's a good one. We could see something there. A number one fan question: over under FSU wins 10 games this year.
10 games, I think, would be a great season. I'm going to go with the over. I think they have a big win Sunday night to give them some momentum.
Of course you are. You have to.
And they play here against LSU in Orlando at the Citrus Bowl. I'm going to say they're going to get a win that night, and I think they're going to get above 10 wins, which would be an incredible season for Coach Norvell and his staff.
I'm going to go with Coach's crystal ball on that one. So last I heard, FSU was +2. So LSU was favored by 2. You're going to take FSU with the upset?
I'm taking FSU with the upset. I think it's gotten to +4. I don't know.
You going to the game?
So it's my daughter's birthday Sunday. To be determined.
Anybody got a free ticket out there for Coach Holohan and a friend? Come on, it's the Citrus Bowl. It's in Orlando. It's FSU. FSU visors that in Jeeps with no doors. That's Coach Duke. If you got a free ticket for Coach Duke, hook the man up. And you can give him a personal gift. It's okay. It's legal.
I'll take it. Yeah,
it's legal. Okay,
yep.
So if you wanna help Coach Duke out, please do. Some corporate ticket, don't matter. The seat anywhere, as long as it's not on the east side too early, because then it's really sunny. East side of the stadium's no good. Okay, let's go, Coach. 60 seconds of mentorship responsibility.
That's a good word, responsibility. I think, when you have responsibility, I think of the word selfless. I think if you're responsible, I think if you're somebody that's trying to be a responsible young man or young woman, hopefully you're not only doing that for yourself, but you're doing it for others. I think of my own responsibility when it was, it's not just me, it's also my wife and my children. And then what God has allowed me to do and be a coach, I'm responsible to be the best coach I can be, to be the best father and best husband I can be. That's responsibility to me. I think for a young person being responsible, what is it that you've been entrusted with at that point in your life? I think as a student or as a young person, you're a student. How are you handling your grades? You're a son or you're a daughter. How are you as a son or daughter to your parents? Are you a responsible young person into what you've been given, right? If you're now have a license, are you a responsible driver? It's what God has given you in that time of your life that you need to be responsible for. And at the end of the day, I think when you're responsible, it means you care about others really well. You have great responsibility because not only do decisions affect you, but they affect those that are around you, they affect the people that you love. So I think when I look at responsibility for a young person or for an older person, it doesn't matter. It's what are you doing with what God has entrusted you with at that point in your life? How are you doing it well? And how are you doing it to where you're going to have decisions that will affect those around you in a positive way? So when I think about a responsible student athlete, they're responsible in the classroom, they're responsible at home, making sure they listen to their parents, they're a responsible student athlete with what they're called to do as far as in the weight room, on the field, etc. So what are you doing with what you've been entrusted with at that time in your life to go and max it out?
Awesome. Responsibility is an important thing, and when you're an athlete and you're on a team and you're representing a school, you got to be responsible and you got to make good choices.
Big time.
We already kind of did an Eagle coaching family fact. Coach Holohan, 40 years old. Happy birthday this week, Coach Holohan. 40 is it's a good number. So there's that. We can call it a day. Now, Coach, what we're going to do next? I need to take a picture of this because I messed up. I didn't write this down before. Okay. So we're going to do a new segment, and it's part of my theme this year. It's called Cruising with Coach, because for me, Coach Duke is the Tom Cruise of College Park. Okay. So, Coach, I'm going to pass this over to you, and it's gonna have some lines here. So I want you to get in character, and every week we're going to do one of these. Okay. You're going to play the role of Maverick in this particular instance, and I'm going to play the role of Stinger. Stinger, I believe, was in charge of the Top Gun unit, and at the end of the movie, this is what happens. Okay? Stinger says, let me get in character, hold on a second. Stinger says, "They gave you a choice of duty, son. Anything, anywhere. Do you believe that? Where do you think you want to go?"
I thought of being an instructor, sir.
Top Gun?
Yes, sir.
God help us. Can you put the visor on, Coach? Can you
put the visor on? Sure.
Yeah, put the visor on just for a
I
second.
need a haircut.
Can I? Oh.
Yay, nay?
It's amazing. Everything feels right in the world again. It's unbelievable. Coach, last thing we're going to do, speed option's going to be a little different this week. I'm going to stick with our theme, okay? There's going to be an over-under because some people out there don't really get it. So the number's going to be 5. I talked to a lot of people, and I decided on 5. This is not as easy as you think it is, and there's going to be a bet. So the bet is going to be something. The bet is going to be undecided. You got anything we can bet? I get 1/4 of a headset.
There you
any
go.
game you choose this
All right,
year.
deal.
I won't say a word. I just want to listen.
Okay.
1/4, one
right.
game, any game. It can be any game.
And
Home game.
And if I win,
If you win,
jambalaya. We had it last
all
year.
right, jambalaya.
LSU plays this weekend in Orlando.
Jambalaya.
It makes a good one now.
Orlando. Okay, I like that. So the speed option, Coach, on this over/under is 5.
And I can't push.
It's got to be over.
Okay.
So you got to get to 6. No sequels. 5 movies Tom Cruise has been in. No sequels.
Okay, so I have to name 5.
You have to name more than 5. Stop stalling, okay? I'm going to give you a second now. Here we go. All right, I'm going to put a timer on. I'm going to give you a minute, okay?
Yeah.
And we're going to say go.
All right, I mean, Top Gun. Mission Impossible. Show Me the Money. Jerry Maguire. The one where he was growing up in Pennsylvania, or what's the one where he slides over and he's got.
Oh yeah, that's the one. That's a good one. That's where he takes his clothes off.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to slide into an episode. Would you ever do that? Slide into an episode.
You can't. You're messing me up here. I'm not good with these, but
it's harder than you think.
Yeah,
I
can you give me a
tested it
hint?
with a lot of people. 246 toothpicks. Yeah, 246 toothpicks. This guy in Vegas, can you imagine him in Vegas? He can counter hot water. No?
No, I can't. I'm thinking about a bunch of movies. I mean, he was great, as a young actor, and then all throughout the 90s. Jerry Maguire was one of my favorites. Okay.
We're doing Jerry Maguire next week. We're going to read some lines from Jerry Maguire. Did you know the human head weighs 8 pounds? Okay.
I'm probably the time's up.
Time's up. I win.
Yes. Jeez.
Life dream.
Give me some.
There are 40 movies that Tom Cruise has been in. 40 movies.
Yeah.
Risky Business is the slide-in thing. Cocktail. The old ones.
What was the one that he was like a football player in Pennsylvania, like in Western PA? It was one of his early movies. Their dad was dad was a coal miner or something.
There's the new one about Barry Seal, American Made.
American Made, great movie.
There's Jack Reaper.
Oh, Jack Reacher.
Right, Reacher. He was also in. I didn't know he was in the one, the Mummy.
Was he in Vanilla Sky with?
Vanilla Sky. There's a lot of quotes. I've been looking up a lot of quotes, Coach. I got a lot of quotes.
Yeah.
War of the Worlds, Born on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Rain Man. That was the one I was doing there for a minute. A Few Good Men. You can't handle it. We're gonna do that one too. All right, we're done, Coach. That's it. That's the speed option. Sometime this year. I'm gonna make you jambalaya anyway, but sometime this year I'm gonna wear me a headset for a little bit. All right. Coffee with Coach Season 2, Episode 2. Tonight, go Eagles.
Eagle.
Pride.